Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yeukai Kechidori.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another very special episode today on the business show. I'm joined by Natasha Ivanovic, and Natasha is an amazing lady who has been helping business owners and regular individuals in the area of relationships. And we're going to be talking about that because it's an area which many of you have said you need help with. So we decided to bring some experts in this area. And now, before we bring Natasha to the conversation, I want to remind you that our Clubhouse time is now on. So we meet almost every day, Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. UK time. And if you want to join us there, we'll be talking about all things business. Perhaps we will include the relationships on there. And it would be great to see you there if you haven't joined us in one of those shows before. So now let's go straight to Natasha. Natasha, thank you so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Natasha, you are an incredible person. I know you were born in Canada, moved to Serbia, and now you live in Israel, doing what you love and helping people. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Oh, well, it was quite a journey. I grew up and was raised in Canada. I moved to Serbia when I was 22, 23 years old after I finished my degree in criminology. And I spent a little bit of time there exploring myself, going through that journey of self-discovery, in which I ended up doing a master's degree in forensic psychology. And it was during that time when I realized, okay, this is not what I want to do. I want to go back to writing. This is what, I'm passionate about. And I ended up getting a gig online for relationship writing, and it just took off from there. I immediately connected, and that's how I've been doing ever since then.
Yes, and you've been doing this for the last 7 years, writing on relationship, talking about the power of connection and how to create that connection if it is not there. So I'm excited about today's conversation. Now, I know, Natasha, you are in an intercultural relationships when you met, the very fortunate gentleman over there in Israel. You had to practice what you had to practice what you were writing for years. Tell us about that, what it was like.
Well, until I met my partner, Nate, I experienced what I was writing, but not onto this level, not on a level where I really truly wanted to invest myself into a relationship and take the time to get to know this person on a deep level and create a real connection, a long-lasting connection. So when I met my partner, Nate, we had a lot of obstacles in front of us. We were, multi-faith, intercultural relationship. So his family is religious. That's another, obstacle on top of it. So we had to learn how to communicate. We had to learn how to be honest with each other and really prioritize our relationship to make sure it will last through all these obstacles. So that's what we have been doing for the past 3 years. And it definitely takes a lot out of you. And it really, the challenge of creating a genuine connection with someone and maintaining it, this is like, it's a lot of work. Well, I don't know how to say it. It's work. It's just work. It's pleasurable work. I mean, you get something amazing out of it, but it's a constant, everyday, investment.
Yes, I'm glad that you point that out because business owners will enjoy that because they're constantly working at their business, and you mentioned that their relationship also takes time, and the same principles you write about are the same principles that work in business. Now, let's talk about creating a genuine relationship with perhaps your partner or your clients. How do you go about doing that?
Well, of course, you need to create a level of mutual respect. You have to you have to respect your partner or, customer, and they have to have some respect towards you. And of course, through that, you have to build communication and honesty. It has to be built on honesty. You have to be honest with the person you're communicating with. If not, there's just no relationship. There's no foundation of the relationship. So the importance is really building a strong foundation in which the relationship can grow off of. So that's through respect, communication, honesty, and prioritizing that relationship. So if that's a relationship you want to grow, you have to make that a priority and put your energy and time into that relationship. Whichever it is, whether it's relationships or business, you have to make it a priority for yourself.
I love that. If you don't prioritize something, it is not going to be important, or you won't see the best of it in any way, shape, or form. So I love that you mentioned that right at the beginning. So for those peps who are looking to create that strong relationship, and they're learning to prioritize, do you have any tools or maybe tips that will help them speed that process?
Well, aside from prioritizing the relationship, you have to learn how to communicate with that person. Everybody has different forms of communication. Some people are not so willing to, express themselves emotionally to you or make that connection right away. And that is something you're going to have to work on and understand how they communicate and understand how you communicate as well, so that you can kind of make little alterations to the way you communicate to connect with them on that level that they need. Everybody connects differently. So it's a little bit of a challenge since everybody is different, but there are certain points that you can use to connect with someone. You just have to identify, their needs, their desires, what they're looking for. I mean, I'm talking on a business level in this aspect. Like, what are their pain points? What are their needs, and what can you give them, but on a way that is respectful and honest.
Yeah.
Not in like, a car salesman kind of way, if you know what I mean, but on like a genuine way, connect with them in a way that they feel you understand them. So yeah. I think it requires empathy as well.
Yes, amazing. One of the things, especially during the pandemic right now, that people are craving for is connection, genuine human connection. And you are a business owner or anyone else, you want to create a relationship that is fruitful. If you master how to connect with the people we want to do business with, or you want to be in a relationship with, you increases your chance of making that happen by 90%. So learn how to connect with people, and just by being honesty and really seek to understand them. Somebody once said, they don't seek to to be understood, but seek to understand what people where people are, and reach out right where they are. Oftentimes, it's not so obvious, but it's something that you have to dig deep to find that out. You talked about honesty.
Yes.
Can we expand on that a little bit?
Okay. Well, honesty, it's a tricky one. I understand there's a little line, where you can be honest, and then there's brutal honesty. I think there's a way to be clear and honest with someone without being offensive. Like, obviously, you don't want to cross that line where you're offensive and hurtful. The goal of being honest is not to create discomfort in that person to the point where, they're hurt, they become insecure, they develop, issues from your honesty. That is not the point of being honest. The point of being honest is to help them grow or help you connect with them. Yeah. So there's a fine line, and this just takes practice in learning where that line is. Some people will appreciate brutal honesty. Some people will appreciate hard criticism. They seek that. They thrive on that. And other people, they prefer more of a subdued level of honesty. And that's just something that people will have to measure out themselves, test the waters a little bit, see how far, where is the line? They have to determine where that line is for themselves.
Yes.
It's not easy.
I probably fall under the category of people who want subdued honesty. because sometimes the brutal honesty pushes me away quicker. But I'm working on that.
No, for sure. And I think everybody was raised differently. Everybody has different childhood traumas. Everybody has different experiences that stick with them. And those experiences carry through you as you get older. And they translate in, they transgress into different forms. So, you know, if a parent when you were a kid was very harsh with you and very honest with you, but in a very critical way, maybe when you're older, you may not appreciate that type of, you know, honesty, and you'll appreciate more of a subdued, for example, honesty, which is okay. You just have to learn about yourself and learn and understand where those feelings are coming from and why you like the things that you like in terms of honesty or communication. And that can kind of help you understand yourself better and understand how to communicate with other people better. Because once you understand yourself, you can understand why people react a certain way or why people, you know, prefer certain things that they do. So this can help you in your relationships and your business.
Indeed. I want to talk about you, Natasha, because moving from Serbia to Israel, a completely new culture, and, you know, new environment, different faith. Tell us how you managed to make it work. What were some of the fundamental things you put in place, or some of the things that worked for you?
The biggest thing that, originally when I came to Israel, it was a very hard transition for me. It happened very abruptly and I didn't prepare myself for it. So I would recommend, you know, when making these larger transitions in life, to prepare, do a little bit of research. I'm just like 10 minutes of Googling can save you a lot of, you know, hassle and pain. Do the research, prepare yourself as much as you can. Naturally, when I moved to Israel, there's only so much preparedness you can, you know, have before making these life transitions. But I ended up taking therapy, like going into therapy, and that actually was amazing for me in terms of just understanding the process of moving or making this big transition. I was also, when I coming to Israel, I didn't realize how expensive it was. And working in Serbia, I had a completely different salary. So, you know, that's also an additional stress and trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? I'm living in a country that I can't afford to live in, basically. So I'm going to have to not only work on myself and go through this emotional process of moving to another country, but I'm also going to have to figure out how to increase my income at the same time and, you know, get that moving as well. So those were the struggles.
Yes, yeah. And from your writing, you had to learn how to create relationships there, create like your inner circle, so to speak, including your amazing partner there. Tell us how you did that.
Well, I'm still trying to create an inner circle, as I'm realizing when you're in your, you know, 30 and up, it's hard to make friends in new places. It really is. A lot of people are married, they have kids, they're busy, they have their own lives, and to make new friends and relationships, it's not easy. But it takes a lot of time. You have to invest the time in growing and developing these relationships. So as I realized, you know, when you have a relationship and you're trying to make friends, a lot of that time of your week goes into trying to develop and harvest those friendships and grow them into something that will actually be sustainable over, you know, a long-term period. So it's a lot of work, a lot of pleasurable work. Again, you know, meeting up with people and getting to know them, it's always good. It's a lot of communication and a lot of time. You have to put those relationships at the forefront of your, you know, of your list of things to do.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Natasha, for sharing that. You know, one of the things I have struggled in creating connection with people, or perhaps deeper connection with people, is trust. You know, I'm talking in terms of business first, and then going to relationship there. You know, in business, they're all new. Sometimes you think they're just after for something that will benefit them more than it will benefit you. How do you navigate that? Because there's just this unwritten law, but it's like, are they looking out for me, or they're just looking after themselves here? How do you look at that?
I think developing trust in general, business or, personal relationships, it's about laying the building blocks. You don't have to invest yourself 100% into a relationship right away. You build these little, for myself anyways, I would build little building blocks, start off with the basic communication, and then just as time passes, you have to have some level of trust in them, first of all, to do business. You have to have some basic level of trust that you can actually do business with this person. So once that is established, a very basic level of trust, it's just about building the building blocks and communicating slowly and just seeing how it goes and seeing how you feel and always checking in with yourself. How am I feeling with this person? Do I feel okay? And then you continue the conversation and you can get more personal, as it goes on, and start to develop a real genuine business relationship. But it's I wouldn't say it's about jumping in with them right away. It's about baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. That's right, baby steps. And there's something that you touched on there very quickly about the relationship with yourself, understanding where you are before you can go on to involve others. Maybe we can explore that for a moment before we talk about how people can move forward, those perhaps who have been struggling about in relationships.
Okay, so when I'm just trying to formulate the thought in my head. Can you repeat the question one more time? I had a complete mind burp. Okay.
That's okay. Perhaps I've given you far too much to think about at the same time.
You're good.
Okay, let's talk about people who struggling to create connections, perhaps with them. So first, how can they go about creating that so that they can connect with others in the best way possible?
Thank you. Well, connecting with oneself, it's a long-term journey, and I think it's something that takes years to do. And I don't think it's a journey that has an end date. I think you're always working on self-progressing and self-developing until you're 90 years old. But I do think it's about first of all, looking at who you are and who is your authentic self. Many people are not, necessarily living their authentic self and doing what they want to do. And it's about examining, who you are. Who are you really at the end of the day? Not the title of the job you have, not the mom or dad, none of that. But who are you? And looking at that and looking at your needs and your desires, and are your needs being met? Are your desires being met? And how you can achieve them, and working towards that. And once you have a sense of who you are, you can start to understand why you think the way you think, how your childhood has influenced your current life. You can start to work on your childhood issues. We all have them anyways. And you can start to grow into your authentic self and working towards being your authentic self. And once you are your authentic self, you're living, you're living the life you want to live. You're being you. And once that is achieved, you can really focus on creating genuine connections with ease. You're not thinking about what this person thinks of you or what they can take from me or any of that. You're content with who you are. And that's a powerful thing. And I think it's a thing that many people don't necessarily have.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. As we're coming toward the end of our conversation here, there will be people who want to learn about your relationship site, or if you've got something else that they can on learning with you. Where can they find this information?
You can find me on www.natashaivanovic.com or Instagram at Natasha Ivanovic, and I'm there.
Yeah. And what sort of things do you help people with?
I help people with intimacy, dating, and relationship advice. Anything that they need, they can come ask me, and I will help guide them through their issue and hopefully help solve their problem.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Well, any final thoughts here, Natasha, for those people who are looking to get started with maybe their dating or who have struggled with that area? What can you say to them?
If you're struggling with dating, take a piece of paper, write down what your needs are in a relationship. What are you really looking for in a relationship? And understand what you want. And once you know what you want, it'll be easier to find, to connect with people who have those same needs as you. So know what you want before going into dating, and it'll make the experience a lot smoother than you would have thought.
Amazing. Amazing. I like that advice. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you are looking to go into dating, you know where to get your advice from, or if you are just looking to connect with your customers or the people you get to do life with, today's conversation touched on some of the few things that you can do. Like, for example, start on the right foot with great communication, honesty, and have mutual respect. And there are other areas that you can explore. So I hope you can reach out to Natasha or reach out to us in the community. We'll be able to talk about these areas more. With that said, we want to wish you a very great day, and also remind you of the Clubhouse hour that we are spending together on there. Amazing things are happening there, and we want you to join us there if you can. Monday to Friday at 9 o'clock UK time, and you have an amazing time. With that said, Natasha, it's been absolutely big pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. And have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.